Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are doing season predictions for week 2. And today we started off with the Bills and the Dolphins for Thursday Night Football. And for this game, the Bills, they struggled. Their defense really concerns me. But their offense is looking pretty strong with Josh Allen. I'm really confident in him. And then they're taking on the Dolphins, who I think also struggled just a little bit. I think Tyreek Hill is going to be really good. I really do think if Tyreek Hill and the offense can really have a good game, I think that Miami might run away with this game. But despite that, I believe that Josh Allen and the Bills are just barely going to do enough to beat the Dolphins.
Yeah, honestly, same thing here. Like the Bills really scared me in those first two quarters because I started watching the game and it was 17-0 to the Cardinals and I was like, oh shit. And then the Dolphins, I was like, that's not nice because they barely won to the freaking Jags. And then of course, like he said,
Bad.
what?
No.
Okay. Josh Allen, he had to hit triangle and hurdle for real. So I'm gonna go with the Bills on this one. 17-10.
That's a really low scoring game for high powered offenses, Peyton.
I had high scoring for low powered offenses last time. All right, I'm not trying to overcompensate
the Saints did meet your
yeah, that's the 40.
47 actually,
yeah.
And you predicted 40.
I had 40 to 20.
40 to 32 actually. Yeah, it was 40 to 32. See?
Oh wow.
40 to 32. Okay. Peyton.
My bad.
Peyton's memory is awesome, guys. All right, and straight to Sunday football. We have the Bucks and the Lions. So for the Bucks last week, Baker Mayfield looked amazing, but I wouldn't be too quick to judge. It's only week 1, and it was against the Commanders, which I'm not too confident in. So they are playing the Lions, which last week I thought looked okay. The Rams are a pretty good team. I wouldn't say they're doing perfectly well or that they look amazing, but despite that, I do think it is just quite enough to edge past the Buccaneers. But again, I would not be surprised if you see the Buccaneers on top of the Lions.
So I'm going to be the opposite here. I unfortunately didn't get to watch these two games, but I'm gonna go with the Bucks and having the score 20-16.
All right, and so for the next game, we have the Saints and the Cowboys playing each other. So for the Saints last week, Derek Carr, as we said earlier, he looked amazing. But again, Panthers, not a great team, and it doesn't mean too much, but it does mean a little something. I think it can give the Saints some hope for this season. Maybe they won't be as mid as they are usually. And they're taking on the Cowboys, which they looked pretty good against that dominant Browns defense that is generally pretty dominant. But I am going to take the Cowboys because I really do feel confident in that Cowboys offense to beat that Saints defense, even if they do manage to cause a little damage to the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'll be the opposite here. I'm going to go with the Saints again this week against the Cowboys, and I'm having it being a pretty tight game. 10-6. 10-6. Pretty close game.
Yeah, Peyton's coming out with the ballsy scores here. All right, so for the next game, we have the Colts and the Packers. So for the Colts last week, they played the Texans, and they didn't look as bad as expected, but we are still not too confident in Anthony Richardson right now, and they don't look too bad, but I'm not too confident again. And then they play the Packers, and the Packers last week, rough last week. They looked good. Jordan Love looked okay, but he ended up getting hurt at the end of the game. And so now they have Malik Willis in his place, and I'm not that confident in Malik Willis, so I am going to take the Colts here.
I am also taking the Colts here because of the whole Jordan Love incident, which I didn't figure out until he told me because that was a game I didn't get to watch. And the Colts, so yeah, like I said, Colts, and I have it 15-12.
All right, so for our next game, we have the Seahawks and the Patriots. So for the Patriots last week, mixing it up, the Patriots played the Bengals, and they actually won, surprisingly. It might also just be the Bengals getting to a slow start, but I do think that could also maybe inspire confidence that the Patriots won't be as bad as we potentially thought they would be this year. and maybe there's some hope, or maybe it will be completely and utterly crushed this week. Who knows? But for this week, I do have the Seahawks, who I feel like had a superior performance against their Broncos. And yeah.
I also have the Seahawks, and I have the score being 30-16.
All right, so for the next game, we have the Giants and the Commanders. Giants last week getting crushed by the Vikings, as Sam Darnold looked good and destroyed them. So yeah, that was pretty sad. And honestly, at this point, I'm starting to feel bad for Daniel Jones. It's kind of sad. And then they played the Commanders, who didn't look amazing, but with how the other team's rookie quarterbacks played, it wasn't too bad of a performance from Jaden Daniels. And despite that, I am going to say that this early rookie team maybe faces a stumble to the Giants. And I think I'm going to take the Giants here to get their first win of the year. Maybe only win.
I see, that was me last week with the Giants and the Vikings. However, after that game, my soul has been absolutely crushed, and I am choosing the Commanders to win this one. 34-10, because I have no hopes in the Giants anymore whatsoever, unless they go against the Panthers.
All right, so for our next game, we have the Raiders and the Ravens. The Raiders last week didn't inspire too much confidence in me. They didn't look horrible, but they didn't really look that good either. They played the Chargers, of course, and they narrowly lost. They could have won, but didn't inspire too much confidence in me. And then they played the Ravens, who narrowly lost to the Chiefs. And so I'm feeling pretty confident in the Ravens, despite their loss. So I am going to go with the Ravens to beat the Raiders.
If you weren't confident in the Ravens for this one, I was going to be a little upset there.
No.
I was a toenail off from having my prediction being so freaking close to being true. It wasn't even funny.
It was.
This man showed me the clip, and I was floored to the maximum.
It was hilarious. It was absolutely
mad.
Hilarious. But also, they were about to go for 2, so.
Besides the point.
There was either going to be 26-27 or 28-27.
It's okay. Anyway, so I have the Ravens winning this one just because I think that they're a really good team versus the Raiders that I literally know nothing about. And I have the score being 40-25.
So for the next game, we have the Chargers and the Panthers. And for the Chargers last week, they're looking a lot better. They took care of business against the Raiders. I think it is a really good idea to get rid of Brandon Staley. It really made that team look a lot better. And I think the new head coach, he's looking pretty good this year. And they play the Panthers, which last week was rough. Bryce Young really played absolutely abysmal. Not that other rookie quarterbacks played much better, but he really didn't look all that good. And for that reason, I am going to go with the Chargers.
I am picking the Chargers here. And seeing as the Panthers they did only manage to get like a field goal, right?
They got 7, I think.
Oh, they got 7. Anyway, seeing as their score was just terrible, and the Chargers held up against who they play?
Chargers?
Yeah.
Raiders.
The Raiders?
The one team you don't know anything about, apparently.
The one team I don't know anything about. And the one thing I thought I knew about them ended up being false. Insert clip.
I didn't say the Raiders did bad. When did I fail?
You had bad luck with them.
When?
Well, whenever you were doing your thing. Never mind then.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
I thought that's false information. I am going to pick the Chargers 40-3.
40-3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the score. 40-3.
All right, so for the next game, we have the 49ers and the Vikings. Peyton, I'm going to let you pick first.
Obviously, the 49ers, ladies and gentlemen. The Vikings? On God. 20-14.
All right. So for my turn, I'm picking the Vikings.
No!
He is about to lose. He's going to suck it. And I am taking the Vikings to win 20-10.
Okay. Whatever.
So for the next game, we have the Browns and the Jaguars. I just had that except Peyton there. So for this game, the Browns last week, they played the Cowboys. And not too good. The defense, it didn't look as good as it did last year. I don't think that's an indicator of that they're going to not be as good as last year. I just think it might just be a week 1 thing. And then later on the season, they will get better. The offense, still, it's not great. But if that defense can get back up to form, I really think they have a chance at winning anything, no matter who their quarterback is. And they played the Jaguars, who really didn't inspire too much confidence in me. I didn't think anyone looked particularly bad, but no one looked particularly good either. So I am going to take the Browns in this one, hesitantly.
I'm not hesitant. I'm picking the Browns here, 15-7.
So the next game, we have the Jets and the Titans. So for the Jets, they played Monday Night Football against the 49ers, and they lost. I haven't looked too much in this game, but it looked pretty rough for the Jets. Their quarterback didn't get injured in 4 plays, so that's an up, but it really didn't inspire too much confidence in me. But they're playing the Titans, who also really didn't inspire any confidence in me at all. They blew their 17-point lead, and I am going to take the Jets here.
Listen, I have a feeling, Titans will get it eventually. So I'm picking the Titans 10-6.
You picked 2 10-6s.
No?
Right there.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Peyton really loves 10-6.
I guess. Shit. Right.
All right, so for the next game, we have the Rams and the Cardinals. So for the Rams, they played last week against the Lions. They actually took the Lions to overtime, which was a surprise. I thought they were going to lose to the Lions. They did, but they at least took it to overtime, and they look a lot stronger than I expected them. I knew they weren't going to be bad, but I think I have some confidence in this Rams team, and they take on the Cardinals this week, which blew a lead to the Bills. And I really don't feel confident in the Cardinals' defense. And I think that's ultimately what's going to screw them over. So I will be taking the Rams this week.
All right. I have a philosophy. If one LA team wins, the other one's got to lose. Even though that sometimes might not always be the case. It'll be the case for all of my picks. And seeing as the Cardinals somehow managed to start having a lead for the first 2 quarters against someone that Tate thinks is going to be a Super Bowl contender and actually make it to the Super Bowl but end up losing, I think they're going to win by 1 point, being 25-24.
What about the third LA team? The Los Angeles Raiders?
Whatever.
Did I just convince you that the Los Angeles Raiders are a thing? It's the Las Vegas Raiders, Peyton.
Yeah, it's the lost part. You actually got me. It was the lost part. I had a feeling. Because aren't they in Nevada?
Yeah. I think they used to be.
I don't know.
LA. I don't remember. I know they moved to Las Vegas. They used to be somewhere else. Yeah, so for the next game, we have the Bengals and the Chiefs. And I'll let Peyton pick this game first. I decided that Peyton gets to pick the Bengals and the 49ers games before I do. Because those are his teams.
Yes, sir. Like I said, the Bengals, okay, versus the Chiefs. All right. I think they're going to wake up in this game. All right. They are going to get their stuff together this game, okay? And I think that they're going to win 20-16.
All right. So for this game, I have...
Hello, guys. It's editing me here. I'm going to use my Kickfoot pick right now because I made a bad decision by picking the Bengals. I really think they're going to lose this week, so I'm changing my pick to the Chiefs.
And so for the next game, we have the Steelers and the Broncos. So for the Steelers last week, we had them playing the Falcons, and they won off of field goals. Only field goals. Their defense looked pretty good. I really like their defense. It looked pretty good. Their offense was not that good, but Chris Boswell was able to take care of business because he got every one of their points. The kicker. Yeah. But they play the Broncos, which did not inspire confidence inside of me. And Bo Nix looks more like Bo Picks. And for that reason, I am going to pick the Steelers.
Okay. I'm also picking the Steelers because the Broncos versus the Seahawks. So I'm going to go 32-21.
So for our next game, we have the Bears and the Texans. So for this game, we have the Bears, who came back against the Titans. I was pleasantly surprised at how good the Bears looked. Caleb Williams, not so much. He was better than some of the other rookies, but still not really that good. had a pretty rough game, just at least no interceptions. And they take on the Texans, who really look like a strong team this year. I really have a lot of confidence in them. And so for that reason, I am going to take Texans to win this game.
I'm also taking the Texans to win this game because I'm upset with the Bears because they beat the Titans. I'm kidding. That's not my actual reason. I don't really have a reasoning for it.
He doesn't have it.
I just want the Texans this time. 24-13.
All right, and so for the last game, Monday Night Football, we have the Falcons and the Eagles. This game is not going to be fun at all. I have this being a complete destruction of the Falcons, because last week the Falcons, not good. I don't think Kirk Cousins was quite ready to come back out on that field. He still looks like he could use some recovery time, and if he can even come back to the field, because it looked pretty rough. The offense was just way too predictable for them to have any chance of winning. And then you have the Eagles, who played the Packers, and they didn't look that bad. I was actually expecting them to look a lot worse. I think I way underrated them. So for that reason, I am going to take the Eagles to get the win here.
I didn't underrate them, and that's why I beat you in that game. But I'm also picking the Eagles. I had hope for the Falcons at the beginning of this, and then lost it all because I saw Eagles versus Falcons, and I said, you know what, the Eagles, they did pretty well in Brazil, which I was surprised they were actually wearing green. Did you notice that? They actually were able to wear green on that
Yeah, they
field.
were. They ended up changing their minds.
That really confused me when I saw the clips of it. And I have the game being 25-20.
All right, and so that will do it for week 2 of our season predictions, and we will see you in the next one.
Go Bengals!